Howdy, my name is Alex Smith. I'm sure, I don't know if y'all know Dr. Will, but he likes to call us the Holler engineers. I'm more of a Holler tech, which just means I work at the Kentucky Valley Educational Cooperative. I do some of the IT work, I do some food service, I do some STEM, some videography, photography, just about anything related to tech up there. We probably have our hand in, but we're a team, so I've got 3 other guys with me. We all work together to accomplish one goal, and that's to enrich education in Eastern Kentucky. So that's what we're trying here. So PowerPoint today is focused on artificial intelligence, and it's about harnessing AI to save time and boost efficiency. So I'll move on. I want to preface the information that I'm sharing today is accurate as of this month. So this could all change tomorrow. AI, I'm sure y'all have heard of it. In the past 2 years, it's kind of been everywhere in the world. It changes literally at the blink of an eye. So just, if I say something today and it's not true tomorrow, oops. It's just the way it goes. Today we're going to learn what is AI. I want to show you some chatbots, some image generation with it. And if we have time, I'm going to get to the KVEC guidance, kind of touch base on that a little bit because they just released their guidance for AI usage in schools. And I like their stance on it. It's a mix. It's a really good stance to have, I believe. And so, like I was saying, AI has been super popularized in the last 2 years thanks to OpenAI's ChatGPT software. And everyone calls it artificial intelligence, but I really don't think it's true intelligence. It's really just a computer program that's been trained on so much data it's able to replicate human speak back at us in a way that feels like intelligence, more or less. So that's kind of my understanding of it. And something I want to talk to you about, ChatGPT 4, which I'm going to show in a second. Its current knowledge base only goes to August 2021, so that means it knows nothing about Taylor Swift's latest album, The Tortured Poets Society. So, you know what? I think that's actually quite nice. And I'm just kidding. Because I had to throw the just kidding in there because my wife's a huge fan of Taylor Swift. And if she saw this, she would be disappointed. But I had to put that in there. And then I had to just describe what a paraeducator is. I'm going to just probably skip through these 2 slides because they're not super important. Let's just jump straight into AI. Does anybody have any questions on AI? I know y'all have not seen it before, so I just want to kind of jump into it so you know what we're talking about. All right, here's an immediate way you can use it. So I've got these 3 ingredients here. And what I did earlier was I had to email myself a photo of these ingredients because I had a whole thing planned to use my phone, but the internet here just shut me out.
That's what happens in schools.
Yeah, so I planned around it. So what I did, don't worry about that. No, that's for later. So I took a picture of this, and you can do this on your phone. But since I can't use my phone, I just took a picture and emailed it to myself. Definitely a huge workaround. And let's say this is the only 3 ingredients I had at my house, and I just really need a recipe. My kids are hungry. I got to get them fed. So I'm going to say, create me a recipe using only these ingredients. And sure, you could feed all this into Google and ask it, or you could just give ChatGPT a picture of it and let it just think for you. So here it goes, it's processing, so let's see what it comes up with. First off, it lists our ingredients, which is black beans, rotel tomatoes, and green chilies, and whole grain pasta. And let's see, so we got the instructions right. And I mean, that's something we didn't talk about. It looked at this picture and figured out the instructions. I didn't tell it. It looked at it and made an understanding of it. We don't want to say it understood the image, but it was able to extrapolate at least that text information. So it doesn't actually understand it. It's just like a pseudo sort of understanding.
So basically it's making connections. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so it's making connections. It's saying, okay, here's this whole grain pasta.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's going online and finding out how you cook pasta.
Yeah.
And then it's delivering that to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not making stuff up on its own. It's just using all the resources much more quickly than I probably could.
Oh yeah, it's like it's able to do all these calculations in this processing in nanoseconds, where it would take us seconds to minutes to
At least,
something like
by the time we type it in,
Yeah.
it's probably already found.
Yeah, it already knows. And this is all data it's trained on. Now you can push its data further and have it look at websites because ChatGPT does have access to the internet, but just for its current knowledge base, I'm just having it use what it knows now. And so let's see, it looks like it made a black bean and tomato penne, which instructions: cook the penne, whole grain pasta cook according to 9 to 10 minutes. So about 9 minutes is what it says on the log, so it did a pretty good job on that guesswork, I'm imagining. Prepare the sauce, open the can of black beans, drain and rinse the black beans, combine and heat, mix together, and serve. And then you can serve black bean and tomato penne. And sprinkle cheese on it, so it knows exactly how I like my pasta. So that's perfect. So that's just a fun way that I thought you could use AI in your classroom. Not your, unless you have a home ec class, but in your home, a realistic way to use it. Our boss, our CEO of KVEC, Jerry Green, his sons use it, and they use it to build out workout techniques. So they'll say, I have a 10-pound dumbbell or two pairs of 10-pound dumbbells, a bench, and that's it. I need a workout regimen. They can ask ChatGPT and have their own customized workout regimen built out for them. And they can build upon it. They can say, okay, I've added a kettlebell to my workout. Then it can add that into the regimen. So it's just the coolest software ever. I implore you, I know y'all in the back, y'all not really used AI. If you get the opportunity, this is all free. All of it's all free to just play around with. Well, right now, I actually have access to the paid version, which is this 4.0. But I just figured out, as of like 2 weeks ago, ChatGPT 4, which is like it was the current and most latest model up till like 2 or 3 months ago. It's completely free, and that gives you access to. You can put pictures in here. You can throw PowerPoints in this program. You can throw PDFs. You can have it analyze and view all that data, and I'll show you that live here in a minute. But let's keep moving through this. Okay, let's do some image generation. I just want to do some image generation with y'all. So, what I used here, I said, can you create me an image of a penguin holding a sign that says, "Paraeducators are awesome"? They did pretty good there. This is all AI generated. This is probably a play on someone else's work, but it is technically its own original work. And here's another example. Paraeducators are awesome. So it's not perfect. And we'll add extra words and probably some extra symbols in there. But let's play with it. So I know I was using ChatGPT, but you all don't get image generation if you're working on a free account with ChatGPT. So I'm gonna opt for you all to probably use Microsoft Copilot, since you probably have Hazard, or what county are y'all from? What county? Knott County. So Knott County, definitely I'm sure you have Word, so you probably have access to the Microsoft suite of applications. So you'll get Copilot, which, let me tell you what, funny enough, Copilot is just ChatGPT, but with the Microsoft sort of look to it. So let's ask it to create us an image. So I want something off the wall. What's an image y'all have never seen before, or something first thing comes to your mind? What's the first thing you think about?
The auroras.
The auroras. Okay, I think I can spell that. Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, the aurora. All right, what's something you think about right now? Boom. What's top of your head? Say something random. All right, what do you think about? Could be anything. Animal, cat, dog. Something. All right, the auroras.
What's your favorite animal?
What's your favorite animal? Monkeys, okay. The auroras with, I want to say, I'm trying to think, how about, the auroras threw me off.
Sorry. The cheeky monkey.
The auroras with the beautiful, I want to say the auroras, those are the big,
Northern Lights.
the Northern Lights, right? With monkey, I'm trying to think of something. I try to throw it off. The auroras with monkeys. I'm just going to say that. Let's just go from there. Can you create me a picture of the auroras with monkeys? And I'm just going to, this is completely, kind of a completely bonkers question. but it says I'll try to grade that. So let's try this here. All right, so here we go, generating an image. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but the great thing about ChatGPT, you don't have to worry about like lewd or explicit sort of image generation as you would if you were on like other websites. So this is, you can do this live in front of your students and really not worry about anything. So there we go. So it took what I thought was a completely incoherent sort of thought I put together, but it made a cute little Aurora with cookies. That's a good little desktop background. So, or anything. You could, if you just wanted something to spice up the room, or print this off on a poster. I mean, it doesn't always make sense because I don't know if y'all noticed, but that monkey's kind of just it's hanging. Yeah, it's hanging. There's a branch.
There's another one down there that's kind of on nothing.
Yeah. So it's not perfect, but it's really neat. It's really neat. And you can just download these and you can customize them too. I actually don't know what that means, but let's see what that does. Just to, oh boy, where's it taking me? You know what? No, we won't worry about that. But I'm imagining this is some sort of like Photoshop-esque sort of thing where you can put text on it. So if you wanted to make like a visual sort of infographic using some sort of image generation, you don't have to download Photoshop and do that. You can do that all in the web browser. Actually pretty nice. Not gonna lie, that's pretty good software. All right, and so another reason why I like Copilot, if I did this in ChatGPT, it would only give me one image. Copilot's giving me 4. So I got 4 images to choose from right like that. So I implore you, if you have a Microsoft app, or even if you don't, and you don't want to use ChatGPT, or pay for ChatGPT to get image generation, because you still get the same chatbot, but if you don't pay for ChatGPT, you're not getting the image generation. But if you use Copilot, you do get it. I'll make a graph on that. I'll make it a little. I didn't throw that at you.
Sure.
So yeah, definitely download the app if you feel the need to. It's really awesome. You can, if you download it, you can upload your own files, upload your own images. You can have it analyze images, just the same as I had ChatGPT to it. You can even talk to it if you don't feel like typing out everything. If you just need like a quick response, so pretty neat. So let's move on from image generation and we'll get to the chatbot. So the chatbot is like, that's what everybody thinks about when they use AI. They think about talking to this robot and it responds to them and it's able to give them multitudes of data back at them. It's the most used form. And for me, chatbots are best used as an assistant. That's my stance on it. It should never lead the classroom and it should never lead you in life. It's always to just be there to help you. Don't ever let it really be the guide. Because it's always going to think it can guide you. It's going to think it knows best, but it doesn't. It doesn't. Always the people know the best. So, so this is what ChatGPT looks like. But let's go ahead and just test some prompts. What I had planned to do, but since my phone doesn't work, I can't do this. I was going to have like an algebra equation wrote down on a piece of paper. I was going to take a photo of it and have it solve it for us. So if y'all are ever like helping a student out and they need a math question, I mean, and just help. You can ask ChatGPT not to solve the question for you, but help you understand how to solve it. So say, without answering it, help me get to the answer of this problem. In the future, I'm going to build this PowerPoint to have that built in because obviously I can't rely on Wi-Fi to work like that. So let's go ahead and plug one of these in here. So I'm going to plug. Can you help me brainstorm ideas for a persuasive essay on climate change? Now, I'm not trying to push climate change on anybody, but I thought it was interesting to just see what it came up with. So what I've done here, I'm on ChatGPT, and all that is, chatgpt.com. Make an account, you'll get access to this. It looks exactly the same. Only difference you're going to see is you're not going to see all my history. Anything you say to ChatGPT, it keeps it. So if you want to view it a month down the road, it's here, or it stays here. So, for example, I like this example. I want to say, so let's say you're working with Susie on shapes, and she's struggling with shapes, and finally she figures out that a triangle is a triangle, and you've been talking to ChatGPT to figure out ways to help her show that that triangle is a triangle with its three corners. Now you want to move on to squares. It's got four corners to it. You can ask ChatGPT in the same thread. So if you could be in that same thread that where you've been talking to ChatGPT like, oh great, we've done great. Susie now understands triangles. Now she needs to learn squares. You can say something like, now let's learn squares, and it will remember all the previous stuff that you and ChatGPT have kind of shared together. It has memory to its threads. So as long as you're in that same conversation, it's going to remember kind of what was said previously. So it's like I said, it's best known as, it's like an assistant that doesn't forget what you say as long as you don't delete the thread. And who doesn't like an assistant like that, right? I mean, to me, I forget most things as soon as they leave my mouth. So to have something that I can go back to and say, here's where me and Susie were, that's, oh my gosh, that's worth all the money in the world for me. But back to where I was at, let's ask that question about climate change. So, can you brainstorm ideas for a persuasive essay on climate change? Let's see what it says. Certainly. It's going to give me some ideas. So here are several ideas and angles you could explore for your essay. First idea, the urgency of action. So I can detail the rapid acceleration of climate change effects. Or number two, the economic benefits of climate action. Argue that investing in renewable energy sources like solar and wind creates jobs and stimulates the economy. And then it goes on, it gives me more ideas about the health implications, moral and ethical responsibility. And this is neat, because I did the same example in the class last time, and one of the examples was, when you don't take action. So it gives you different things every time. You can ask ChatGPT the same thing, it's never going to say it the same way each time. So also another cool feature of it. And so these are just really good ideas. Each of these topics can be tailored to fit the required length. And of course, one of the big things y'all are probably thinking about when you hear AI and you can see it used in this sort of capacity is cheating. What's stopping a student from saying, oh, that's a really good idea. Let's copy and paste that in here and say, now create me a persuasive essay about climate change, and this is my topic. Nothing's really stopping it. They can go right around and do that. But I'm skipping ahead a little bit. But for me, I think if the student knows that the teacher knows what AI is as a tool, they're going to be less likely to use it in that fashion because they're going to know, first off, I mean, the teacher knows I don't write like that. No, most people don't write to this sort of, I guess, professionalism or this kind of verbose to their word. They don't really speak like this. So sometimes it's easily detectable, but then the student can also they can add the little line in here that says, all right, now write this more like a human, or write this like me. And that can change the writing a little bit. So I think for me, it's just about being transparent. You just have to build a policy in the classroom about, if you use AI, tell me where you used it and how it was used. Because I've not done this presentation, but I've done similar AI presentations for students. And about 70% of the class has said, I already use AI, why are you here, pal? So I was there to kind of push ethical use. So I think at this point it's about kind of getting ahead of that. So we need to show students that we can use AI effectively, just as effective as they can, and we can even detect it in their work if they use AI. So I think it's about building transparency. I really do, because I mean, I think back to when I was in school. If I was in school and AI had just come out, I'd be writing papers like crazy. I'd be writing the best papers of my life. So I think right now that's the stance you have to take, is just to meet them kind of halfway with it. And
I have my students write in the classroom
yeah,
early on
yeah,
and write me a brief essay.
yeah,
And now I know what their writing style is and what kind of writer they are.
Yeah.
And then it's really easy, and I let them know. It's really easy now for me to look at this and look at something you did on ChatGPT, and I don't really have a problem with it. And I tell them, use ChatGPT,
yeah.
but don't just copy
Yes.
ChatGPT.
Like kind of analyze and understand it. I mean, grow with it, right? I mean, use it as an assistant. Use it as a tutor. That's where I see it most. It works as a tutor because, like, I can't tell you, whenever, especially when I was in college and I I was working through these like super complicated math questions that would take the whole back page of this to work through. How useful it would have been to have something that could have said, all right, I'm stuck here. Why am I stuck here? Help me. When it gets 11 o'clock at night and you're working on some homework and you're absolutely stuck, you can't call up your teacher and say, hey, help me out when this assignment's due in 7 hours or like 8 hours. This is where I think this really shines. I would have loved to have my own little personal tutor, because like I grew up poor. I didn't have anybody to help me. My mom was a teacher, but she was a second grade teacher. So once I got in high school, she was like, all right, you're past my limit, son. You gotta do this on your own. So I don't know. I really see that's where this is most effective, as an assistant, as a tutor, and students are going to use it, and they're already using it. They know about it.
Right.
They could probably give this presentation better than I could, but I think it's just important to just kind of get ahead of it and just learn as much as you can. And I really like your idea. Is it okay if I use that?
That's
I'm
fine.
not, because I'm
Another thing that I did, and I don't know if it will still do this, this was earlier on, but I took something that I knew that wasn't a student's work, and I highlighted it, and I plugged it into there, and I said, was this generated by AI?
Yeah.
And it said, yes, this was generated by ChatGPT.
Oh, really?
And so it was like, okay, there you go.
It will still do that, but there's just like so many like
Yeah,
nuances.
there may be
Sometimes
so
it will.
many things,
Yeah.
I don't know if it will or not.
I had this lady in the last class share about how she's seen on TikTok where a girl did this college assignment and she ended up suing the teacher because the teacher had like some AI detection tool and said it was AI generated, and she was able to prove it wasn't. Like it was completely all her own work. Yeah, apparently that was a lawsuit, and I was like, interesting. So so that's why you got to be careful with the AI detection, because it could honestly be their true work. You never want to obviously discount anybody. So it's a really kind of a rocky landscape that we're headed into when you get into the cheating part of this. That's why it's best to build policies.
And embrace it, and
Yeah.
understand that kids are gonna, and it's a great tool. I use it to make rubrics. It makes great
I
rubrics.
got a tool for you.
Yeah.
Here in a minute. Not yet. So here's something. So I don't know if y'all are ever having to respond to the parents' emails, or if the teacher lets you do that, or if you're ever the one having to do the responses. But I've got this concerned parent. So this parent wrote to this teacher. I made this up. Dear Mr. Smith, I'm absolutely furious about Elizabeth's recent grades. How is it possible that she's putting so much effort and still getting such poor grades? This is unacceptable. I know typically they're a little meaner than this. If a parent's writing you an email, oh man, that keyboard's probably broken in half by the time they're finished writing that thing. So I'm going to show you how you can respond to it kind of quickly. And for me, I feel like this would be super handy, because I'm the type of person that if I saw an email and knew that like a parent was like upset with me, it would kind of tear me up, like not professionally, but also kind of mentally, because I don't really want no one mad at me. I'm just doing my job the best I can. So I could get this off my head and make sure it's taken care of professionally, and I wouldn't have to worry that I said something wrong that could be taken out of context later on. So what I did, I copied that email. I'm absolutely furious. We need to meet. And I'm going to say, I'm going to type it like I don't know what I'm doing. Please help me respond to this email. And I can't spell respond. This is not my normal keyboard. So please help me respond to this email. I'm going to say professionally. Oh, I want to say nicely. Just because the more specific you are with the way you prompt things, the better results you're going to get. So always be kind of specific. So here we go. Certainly, here's a polite and constructive response. Dear Mrs. Harmon, thank you for reaching out and expressing your concern. I understand your frustration regarding Elizabeth's grades, and I appreciate your involvement in her academic progress. And then I want to ensure that it was not my intention to overlook any communications, and I apologize if it seemed that way. And then let's schedule a meeting to discuss this in detail, and we can review her efforts. And then we move on to thank you once again for your attention to this matter. I look forward to our conversation. So you can look over this entire little text, throw it in your email, and I would probably edit it, make sure there's no repeats, because this almost sounds like a repeat. Let's schedule a meeting to discuss. Please let me know a time that works for you, or feel free to suggest a few dates. I mean, that's instead of spending 5, 10, 30 minutes crafting this response to this specific student's email, just let ChatGPT. And while we're talking about a specific student's names or just names in general, you can take those names out whenever you send this email. You can just take those names out before you ask ChatGPT, because you really don't want to give it sensitive information. Now, a name might be all right, but I would, if you can do it without it, just add the name back in, because what it's going to do is just going to say, dear parent's name. It's just going to blank that out. So take any sort of sensitive information. If it's addresses, definitely don't put addresses, social security number, anything you don't want to share. Because what ChatGPT does is it takes everything that it learns, anything that's fed into it, and it gets fed into the newest, greatest AI that's coming in the future. So we're on 4, ChatGPT 5 is going to be using information you gave it. So just kind of be aware of that, because like that's kind of the world we're living in now. Data is king, and everybody, all these big companies want everybody's data. So just be aware. They're trying to make money any way they can. So, but that can get that. You can take care of an email like that in no time nowadays. All right, here's my big thing I really want to show y'all. This is the coolest thing. It's called Brisk, and it's a good way to make lesson plan. Have you ever heard of Brisk? You've already heard of it? Oh my gosh, it's so good. All right, so I was just, a lady from Floyd County showed me this. So what Brisk is it's a Google extension tool. Do y'all use Google Chrome on your computers? Or Safari or, yeah, first thing I do when I get a computer, Google Chrome. That's the first thing I do, so.
Yeah, I said the only good thing about,
Yeah.
the best use for Microsoft is to download Chrome.
Exactly, 100%. I'm going to steal your little lines and tell them those are good. So what it is, let me go here before I get too ahead of myself. You go to briskteaching.com, and then you up here at the top right, it says add to Chrome for free. And all that does, that takes you to the Chrome store. I've already got it added here. And you'll just enable that. You enable that thing, and then where's it at? Where's the little circle? Let me go to a different page, because it's not going to pop up for me here. There it is. All right, so you enable that little tool, and, whoa, that desk got low. Right here, and then it shows up in this bottom right corner. This is only open in your web browser, and it's only open in Chrome, so you got to make sure you use Google Chrome. It can create, it can give feedback, and it can change the level. Let's touch on the change level part. So if you're on a website about a specific historical event, let's say the Gettysburg Address, and you're talking to first graders, you can hit that change level and you can change that website's feed. Oh, man, y'all make me want to pull up the little Gettysburg Address. I gotta pull the thing. I want to try that out. The Gettysburg Address. All right, here we go. So now we pull this Brisk up. So we'll pull that up, and let's do change level. And let's say we're talking to second graders, and that's in English. I think this here tells me that this is currently at a 9th grade reading level. I don't know why it says the information there, but that's my presumption. That's it? Okay. And so you hit second grade in English, change reading level. And what this does is opens a Google document, and it's going to take any sort of text information that's on that page, and even pull images. I didn't know it pulled an image. I'm sure ain't done that for me before. It's going to take all the text information on that page and lower the lexile level. There we go. So the second grade reading level. Okay. You have to wait for it to stop generating before you can kind of move up and read it. But, all right, there we go. It's finished there. And then we had all sorts of script writing. Integrated. Okay, I don't know what I got into right there. All right, so if you go here, Gettysburg Address original article. The Gettysburg Address was a very important speech. Abraham Lincoln gave this speech a long time ago. He was the president of the United States. I just love how it just boom, just simplified it right there. So you can do that with Brisk. You can change specific websites. You can insert text yourself, so you can just copy and paste text in there. Or you can go to this little great feature And the create feature will still pull from current websites, but here's what I've found teachers find a lot of use from it. You can make quizzes, rubrics. You can make rubrics, as Katrina was saying, resources, all these different sorts of things, math word problems, specific email, letter of recommendations. If you're working with first graders, you're probably not doing letter of recommendations.
I do them for my students and it's awesome.
Oh, really?
I can go in and say, write a letter of recommendation for someone who is this, and I can give qualities that I know about these students, and it does such a great job.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I always read over them and change it, but yeah, it does a really good job. Because I hate writing letters of recommendation.
I can only imagine. Yeah, in the past I always felt something. I went to physical therapy school there for about a year there, and it always bothered me to have people have to ask them to write letters of recommendation because I know how much time it takes. I won't care now. Now I don't feel bad about it at all because I always hated taking up people's time like that. But my wife did. So my wife used AI. She's the head of the admissions at the admissions over here at the Galen College of Nursing, and she's got 4 or 5 people that work under her with admissions. And y'all ever watch Bridgerton? The show Bridgerton, they have Lady Whistledown. It's like a little pamphlet that comes out. And so what she did is I made her the graphic. I made her this little pamphlet that has this real pretty sort of floral lining to it. And she was able to fill out complimentary papers about each one of her workers on their specific traits. What she did was create me what is it? Not letter recommendation, but that's what we can think of it. But create me a positive note for each one of my employees and keep it in the tone of Lady Whistledown from Bridgerton. And so I wrote it in this old English, and so all I did was I took that text, threw it in there, and we just printed them off, and she was able to give those to her coworkers. So you could do that that would work for birthday parties, cards, anything, and you can make them super personable. You can add as you're typing in ChatGPT, like I was saying, you just be specific, add little things about that person in there, it'll make a whole sentence out of it. Oh, it's great. All right, but this is what I think teachers would use this for the most is the lesson plan. So when you sign up to use Brisk Learning, it asks you what grades that you kind of have. I just selected all of them so I could kind of help everybody. And so you can select 1st, 4th, 5th, anything. I'm just going to do 2nd grade because I'm stuck on shapes today. So I'm making a lesson plan in English. You can select the specific standard. So let's say if your teacher, if you're looking for a specific standard, you can go to your state. So straight to Kentucky. We're looking at math because I guess shapes fall under math because of geometry. That actually makes sense. 2nd grade, and then you can do geometry. Booyah, and we'll just say done. So that's if you need a specific standard. You can just click on that, and you can put multiple in there. So as many standards as you might need to hit on in this lesson plan, you can go for it. So recognize and draw shapes having specific specified attributes. And so I need a lesson. I'm going to say I need a lesson on shapes, on shape identification. I need a lesson on shape identification. So simple. Just keep it simple. And there was also a timer I could have set down at the bottom. Is it doing it on the same? Okay. Yeah, it is. Well, it's doing it on the same Google Doc, but if I would have been in a different tab and not a Google document, it would have just opened a new one. So be aware of that. And I'm trying to close stuff because this is touch screen. I'm not used to touch screens. You should see me. All right. So let's go to the top of this lesson plan. Lesson plan, shape identification. Grade level, 2nd grade, subject math, duration 50 minutes. You can set the duration when you're making the lesson plan. There's the academic standard I chose, and here's my objectives. Students will be able to identify and name column shapes, including triangles, quadrilaterals, pentagons, hexagons, and cubes. Here's the materials I'll need, like shapes, flashcards, or shape cutouts, and shape worksheets. And so we've got an introduction, but let's move on to our body of our lesson, which is going to be show the students flashcards or cutouts in different shapes. Start with a triangle and ask the students to identify the shape. Write the word triangle on the chart paper or whiteboard and discuss its attributes. So this is kind of like a live lesson there. Repeat the process for each shape, allowing students to identify and name them. Alright, then the activity, then divide them into small groups, distribute flashcards or cutouts to each group, and instruct them to sort the shapes into different categories based on their attributes. So I guess that's just like quadrilaterals, triangles, pentagons, hexagons, cubes. And then after the sorting, have each group share their categories and explain their reasoning. So that, I guess they would just share like, this is the quadrilateral because of this. Okay, neat. And then independent practice, share shape worksheet. I don't know, I wouldn't ask it. Have you ever had any practice, I don't know, making worksheets? Yeah, probably.
I haven't done
I've never done it, so I don't, you could try it, but I wouldn't count on it. You probably would have to do your own little graphics on there, and probably be more work.
They need to meld the one that does graphics with the one that does.
Yes, exactly. But so conclusion, review the names and attributes of the shapes and discuss in the lesson. So, and then extension. So this is what you're going to do, you know, in the future to kind of take back to this lesson. So provide additional shape worksheets, introduce more complex shapes, and encourage students to make their own shape flashcards. So this is really sort of a handy tool to, don't use this tool and then just use this lesson plan. You want to take in your own teaching instruction that you've learned over your course teaching and put your own spin on it. Make sure it's rigorous for your students, because ChatGPT is always going to be confident. It's always going to act like it knows best, but really you all know best, and you know if this is going to test your students. Is this going to be to their rigor? You don't want to have lessons that don't test them, because if they don't test them, they're probably not learning and really seeing what they're capable of at their current grade level. So always use your best judgment with these. Change them, edit them. It's already in a Google Doc. It can't get any easier to edit a lesson plan. I mean, it really makes. That's another reason I love this tool. It's not giving it to you in a PDF. It's a Google Doc. You can feed this back through. If you're like, hey, I love this lesson plan, but it just didn't match the rigor. Put this back in ChatGPT and make it a little bit more rigorous. Let's say like with Floyd County. I know Floyd County has specific district standards that they want for each one of their lesson plans. Feed it through there and say, hey, does this match my district's rigor? And then paste your standards in there. Booyah. It's probably already going to build out a little better and get you closer to what you're looking for. Because what we're really wanting is a draft of the lesson plan. This is not the finalized lesson plan. It's just a version of it to get you to the final version. So for me, AI is that perfect little assistant that's just going to save you time in the long run. Because I feel like the big thing right now is like teacher burnout, and I'm really what I think AI comes in handy for is just kind of so burnout never happens.
The tedious little task.
Yes, the tedious little task. It just takes care of that, so you're not spending so much time having to build out this lesson plan. You're actually having time to understand the lesson plan and better educate your students with that lesson plan. That's what teaching is all about. It's not about all the paperwork, which it's important. The data and everything's important, but you really want to make sure your students are getting what their parents are paying for, I guess. So that was just a little fun student. But so Brisk Learning, briskteaching.com. It's a great tool. Try it out. I got some real life examples. All right, I'm gonna show that. And I'll tell you what. A 15-minute presentation is not my specialty. I'm missing the guidance. I'll touch on it. So I've got these real life examples. I just want to walk y'all through how you could use AI in maybe a worky sort of environment. So I got this example. It says, I'm headed to Myrtle Beach next week. I'm there for 4 nights. Any ideas on food and entertainment? So let's just go to ChatGPT. I'm going to open a new little thread here, and I'm going to paste that in here and see what it says. Headed to Myrtle Beach for 4 nights. I've never been before. I don't know what to look for. I don't feel like going on TikTok and listening to these influencers tell me what to do. Let's just see what my buddy ChatGPT thinks. So for dining options, I've got Sea Captain's House, Simply Southern Smokehouse. It tells me even what the food's about. A taste of authentic Southern barbecue. That sounds pretty good. I've got the Pier 14 for seafoods or steaks. Nice. Broadway at the beach, if I'm looking for entertainment. I think I've been to Broadway at the beach. I could go there again. State Park. So this is super convenient. Like I'm doing this on a computer right now, and obviously you're probably not going to be looking on your laptop like help me out. There's ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot. It's all app based. So you can look this up on your app before you even go on vacation, and then you're out there on vacation with your family, and you get all busy and flustered, and you're like, where was I going to go? Just pull that back up on your phone. That thread will still be there. And you'll be like, oh yeah, we're going to go to the Carolina Opry for its high energy music, dance, and comedy shows. I love comedy shows, so it's really neat. Earlier, no, never mind. Our last class, the last group I had, the guys for things to do in Vegas, and boy, that was not what I expected. But yeah, so that was a fun one. So those are some real life examples. I'm just going to analyze these files for you all, but we'll just not worry about that. But I'll tell you what it can do. You can feed this. This is the guidance brief from the Kentucky Department of Education on artificial intelligence. It is just pretty much their stance on artificial intelligence in the classroom. And you can feed this into ChatGPT, so I could just download this PDF, put it on my desktop, and just ask ChatGPT to give me a quick analysis of this. AI guidance brief. What? Let's say I'm, for some reason I'm crushed for time. I've got 5 minutes left of this before I'm going to give a presentation on something. What are the 5 main points of this article? I'm not saying you should rely on something like this, but I've had instances where this one teacher from Ashland was like,
for all the new teachers that couldn't clock in this morning, I need you to stop by the front office before you leave today and sign the exemption form for me, please.
yeah, so right here, the main points of this AI article are the importance of AI in education, guiding principles of AI use. This tells you how it outlines principles to ensure responsible AI usage in education sectors, ensuring privacy, transparency, and ethical AI use. So I really love the Kentucky Department of Education stance on AI because for me it goes back to the calculator where I grew up and I was constantly told, you're never going to have a calculator in your pocket. Don't rely on it in the classroom. And now look at us.
What?
Yeah. We have a calculator. We have the World Wide Web. We've got TikTok. We've got anything we need is usually right in our pocket. And so I think AI is one of those emerging technologies that's like a disruptor, kind of just like how the iPhone was, where it's something that's going to be there for the rest of our life. I know Apple, with their newest updates coming this fall, they're supposed to be pushing big AI updates. So Siri is probably going to be completely AI based. Everything's about your phone. Your phone's going to know what you want to do probably right before you know to do it. Oh wow, that's
a little scary.
Yeah, I think that's honestly where we're getting, because the coolest thing about AI's new system is it's completely Apple based. So like, and it will be scary because we really won't know what data is going into it. Well, we will. It's going to be our data, but it's going to be interesting. And so I don't see it going away. So for me, it's best to just learn it now, figure out how to use it best, how we can best use it in the classroom. Because first off, if we know how to use it, our students are going to figure out, oh, my teacher can use it? Okay, well maybe I should be a little bit more careful about, if I'm going to cheat, maybe I should be careful how to do it. And I like your idea. Learn how they write first, because for me that's typically how they're going to cheat, because if they do if they cheat doing math, then they're at least going to see the way those problems are worked out, and maybe some absorption will happen. But if they're cheating their literature, some of them just turn that right in. So learn the writing style before you give them an opportunity. I think that's really useful. And so if you need the quick main points of an article before you go into a presentation or share something, I don't want you to rely on this, but it's just an option for how I think AI can be useful. Let me make sure. A big point, AI can make mistakes. Don't ever rely on it 100%. Always use your head and think about that. And bless you. And then I was going to go over the KVEC guidance, but I'll just get to my little soapbox at the end of that. Oh, here's the big thing I like about KDE. Human in the loop. This guidance emphasizes keeping human oversight central in AI implementations, which could extend to ensuring academic work is genuinely student produced. Pretty much that again. If you're always leading the class, you're leading class work. Don't ever let AI just lead it. And for me, my big soapbox: educate, empower your students, have them disclose AI use in the classroom. And because my thing is, if we don't empower our students now with the current emerging technologies, then won't that just put them behind with the rest of the students across the nation? I truly, it's like if our kids were, if KDE wasn't so like receptive to the World Wide Web, and our students were left behind, and when COVID happened, imagine if we didn't have as much open access to the internet, our students would have got completely left behind. So I think it's in our best interest to just keep these emerging techs. Don't shut students out of them because they're going to use them anyways. Just teach them how to use them responsibly. And that's pretty much my PowerPoint because I'm out of time.